Welcome to James Christopher Media. And this week, James tells his testimony of how the Lord took him into the future and showed him the outcome. Right here on James Christopher Media.
I was going through a crisis. I was fasting and praying, and I was asking the Lord for wisdom. But nothing seemed to work, and I kept praying and I kept fasting. I was watching the TV on this particular day, and the stock market was dropping down to 400 points. And this guy on television was saying that if you know the outcome, you can make millions of dollars. I think it's somewhere around October or September the 7th, 2007, you can invest and have investment strategies. This is not a doom and gloom. Immediately, I understood. If you know the future, you cannot be defeated. So I prayed and I asked the Lord to know the future. If I could only know the future of this outcome, then I know how to proceed, how to overcome it, how to have victory over it. And I prayed and I asked the Lord. That night, I had a dream. The Lord showed me the future in increments of myself. I went into the future consciously, from conscious to conscious to the future. I think I went into the future about 3,000 years. I'm really not sure. It could have been 300 years. In this particular future, I had my own memories. I had my own understanding. As soon as I came in, everything was available. I knew certain things. I could just look at something and knew exactly what they were talking about. It wasn't like it was the knowledge eluded me. I understood. And each time he took me into the future, up to that point where I wasn't able to go any further. Then he took me to the past. He took me to the past in increments, all the way back until I wasn't able to go any further. And even Jesus said, this is where you go no further. The technology and the advancement of the ancient civilizations were breathtaking. They were far more advanced than I could possibly imagine. I've seen people and civilizations. I've seen empires rise and fall like sandcastles along the beach. It was incredible. The Lord showed me heaven. I was able to walk into the gates of heaven. I was able to look around, but Jesus said, you go here and no further. I wanted to go, and I was thinking, I want to see what's going on. I was thinking that. I did not say that aloud. And Jesus instantly turned to me and said, it's because you understand. And instantly, the Lord took me down to hell. He showed me hell. But before we got started, he grabbed my collar like a choker chain on a dog. He twisted around his wrist and his hand, and he had a tight grip around me. Instantly, I thought, I'm doomed. I'm done for. I'm going to be punished. And we started walking around, and the Lord had a death grip on me. And all of a sudden, I seen some people. And I seen someone I recognized, and I wanted to run to him, but the Lord pulled me back, and he says, you can't touch him, you can't talk to him. You can only observe. I looked around, and instantly I knew. It wasn't like I didn't understand, I knew. I seen the spirits, I seen the souls, I seen the depths of hell. I did not see no fire and brimstone, but I did see pain. Pain was measured. For some reason and somehow, angels would go around on earth and they would walk with you through your life. And if you caused any pain to anybody in any way, shape, or form, it was measured. And only God knew how to measure it. He measured it and they marked it down. And I'm here to tell you, when you die, the bill comes due. If you inflicted any pain on someone and it lingered into the next person, their children and their generation, and then on to their children, that was measured. All of it was measured. And the bill comes due. I understood the depths of hell. And the Lord says, come, we have to go. And the Lord showed me into another dimension. He showed me the universe. He showed me things that I'm not even sure I'm supposed to talk about. But it was like he showed me everything around me. And it was like God knew me and he knew my name. And it was like he knew exactly where I was. He knew my outcome better than I knew myself. And I was in awe. And the thing of it was, is in the future, in this dream, I was able to go, when I popped into this conscience, I was walking around and looking for people. Cities were pretty much abandoned. I understood that the elite had this idea, this program, protocols that they put in place so that they would stay in power. I understood that, but the thing of it was, it brought almost the downfall of society. It brought the downfall of humanity. There were certain pockets of civilization that were still kind of functioning and everything, but the things that they put in place was literally destroying humanity. And then as I was walking along, there were resistance. There were people that not willing to participate in the social experiment. And they were on the outcasts. There were little tent cities, if you will. I was walking along and they dug in the ground like 6-7 feet, and they had dogs in there that were like fighting. It was almost like a dog match, and they were placing bets. And I seen this one particular guy just jump into the middle of a dog fight, and the dogs just tore him apart, and it was like he didn't say nothing, and they literally destroyed him. They literally ate him. And I was just horrified by the situation. And I was walking in past them into the tent. I tried to act like it didn't really bother me, but deep down it really bothered me. As I looked around to people, they had holes in their clothing. It's like they were wearing the same clothing for years. They had tan lines in their holes in the holes of their clothing. And they were really dirty. It seemed like they had no soap or nothing. And as I walked into the tent, they had a few things on the shelf in that, but they had 2 men standing guard, and there was 2 men standing over by the cash register, if you will. I walked around, and I really didn't see anything except for this candy bar. I picked it up, and I walked towards the cash register, and I laid it down, and the guy said, $5. I was thinking, okay. So I reached in my pocket, and lo and behold, I had a $5 bill. And I handed it to him, and he says, we won't give the government tax. And everybody started laughing. I said, yeah, we won't give it to him. And he kind of stopped, and everybody stopped, and they stared at me. And I knew that I shouldn't have said anything. I should have just kept my mouth shut. And he says, what do you mean? I said, yeah, they don't need it. He said, yeah, that's right. There is no government. And he says, you knew that, right? And all of a sudden, people started approaching me. And I was thinking really fast and really hard. And all of a sudden I said, my friend said I must have got hit in the head pretty hard because I have pockets of memory gaps and stuff. So I think I remember. And so I grabbed my candy bar and I said, thank you. And I walked out, and I was able to pass by the 2 guys. I seen chains. I seen people in chains that it's like human trafficking. I seen all the underhandedness of society in a brief moment. And as I started walking out of this tent city, if you will, I just kept walking. And then I was walking towards their civilization, and they had concrete blocks around this city. They had lights, they had, I think, comfort, if you will. And people were peering into the windows. I can see them as the closer I got, and they were shaking their head no. And I can tell that they were trying to warn me not to come any further. I didn't see no fence or barbed wire or even security guards or anything like that. And they said that there was an ethnic cleansing, that the Muslims, Arabics or whatever, went around and started slaughtering people, and the laws kind of protected them, implemented like Sharia law and stuff like that. And there was really no way of coming against them because the laws kind of protected them. And then they were talking about the national disasters and then the global disasters. They were talking about how the ice cap started melting because it kept getting hotter and hotter. For whatever reason, the water rose and all of Florida was pretty much underwater. Some kind of asteroid or comet that hit, and great amount of disaster. A lot of people lost their lives. They were talking about certain medical things that caused people not to be able to have kids, which caused them not to be able to reproduce, and the ones that were surviving weren't able to have kids. And so it was just, it was just a downfall of everything. Everything played to where there would absolutely be nobody left. I had the realization of what God said in Revelations, that if God did not come back, there would be no flesh left. I seen the future.
Thanks again for joining us right here on James Christopher Media. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we make a new video. We'll see you next time.